The NFL Divisional games are coming up this weekend, and this video is really just dedicated to predicting those games. I went perfect for the AFC games to start in the wild card round. I went perfect. It felt good, my predictions are on point, and I am ready to keep the train rolling and hopefully can knock all these down 100%. But yeah, this is just going to be my prediction of all the divisional games we have. We have 4 of them. So we've got Rams, Packers, Ravens, Bills, Browns, Chiefs, and Saints, Bucks. So all of these games are looking to be treats. I am very, very excited for this weekend where I can just sit on my couch and watch football all day long. So before I get fully into that, please do like and subscribe if you enjoy. We are really trying to get as much content out as we can at a very good quality, so it would mean a lot to us if you could just hit the red button. You'll see our videos when we post, and you won't just forget about us in the endless void. So please do subscribe, and we'll get on to the video.
He did it again! Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time!
So, first off, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Green Bay Packers. And the crazy thing about this game is most people would call this a blowout for the Packers. And I am pretty close to not saying that. I'm actually very close. I'm going to call the Rams winning this game. There are upsets. They happen in the NFL. And this is an upset made for the playoffs. It's Aaron Rodgers, probably the MVP, and the Green Bay Packers, who are on absolute tear. They got the first round bye. They're sitting pretty in the NFC, playing the lowly Los Angeles Rams, who don't really have a starting caliber quarterback right now, as Jared Goff has the thumb injury. He's going to play, but he'll definitely won't be at full health. And their backup, John Wolford, is in the hospital. As of this time, I believe he's still in the hospital dealing with that. He will not make it to the game. Plus, Davante Adams, before the season, I would not have called him the best receiver in the NFL. I'm still on the edge, but if you look at the stats and you just look at the way the man plays, it's pretty clear he's probably the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, skill level, I'd love to give it to Julio or DeAndre. It's definitely very close between Julio, DeAndre, and Davante, but I got to give it to just the man who scored 18 touchdowns this season. Crazy, especially when you miss 3 games. So this will go down as one of the better wide receiver seasons in NFL history. But to go back to my original take, I think that the Rams have a real shot at a win here. So the Green Bay Packers run defense has been bad. It has been bad. That's just straight out the facts. And the facts are, people were running all over them throughout the season. Really, the only way that they gave up yards was running. Jair Alexander is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. So when you willingly choose to throw against the Packers, he's going to make you pay for it. He has been locked down all year. He has an effect on star receivers, just like Jalen Ramsey. You have an elite cornerback on your hands when he's locking down people like DeAndre Hopkins or Tyreek Hill or people of that caliber. So I am also thinking about this from a running perspective because their run defense is bad, and the Rams have a real good running back on their hands in Cam Akers. Do I think he is Derrick Henry? Not at all. Do I think we know Derrick Henry didn't perform well against this Rams team or against this Packers team just a couple weeks ago? Yes, it was snowing. Circumstances were different. Here, Cam Akers looks fully healthy. The Rams O-line is giving a lot of help to him. Plus, he's just making things happen. I swear, every time I watch him, he's running for 10, 15 yards. He might not break off that crazy, 95-yard touchdown run, but he will get you a first down very, very effectively. And that's why I think this game will be very close, and it could go in the way of the Rams. I'm excited to see my guy Cam Akers, who kind of won me a fantasy championship. I'm excited to see him perform in the playoffs. Plus, this Rams defense might be the best in the playoffs. It is incredibly good. Jalen Ramsey is by far the best cornerback in the NFL. No questions. I'm sorry if you love Jair or Xavier Howard Minka Fitzpatrick or any of those guys. Jalen, look at these numbers. This is crazy. He's locking down every receiver he comes in contact with. It's a disease. He is locking anybody. He is so good. He really is. You can pay him anything. He is one of the most valuable players in the NFL for their team. A cornerback like Jalen Ramsey can turn your defense from bad to good and good to great. It is just when one player can do that, you've got a special guy on your hands. The Rams defense also is just very well-rounded. They have been locking down teams all year, and it's been kind of underrated. The biggest question for me is Aaron Donald. Is he going to be healthy enough to play? There have been some injury concerns. I think it's a rib problem. If he plays, I'm very, very excited to watch this game. If he doesn't play, I'm still excited, but I think it'll probably go the Packers' way. But in my opinion, the Rams have two of the best players at their position on defense in the NFL. They have Aaron Donald, the best defensive tackle, maybe even the best defensive player who's not secondary, and even then, he's probably better. Or not at being, you know what I mean. He's not better at coverage, but he's better at being a defensive player. And then you have Jalen Ramsey. So, with that said, Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback. Obviously, Devontae Adams, they are tearing it up this season. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron had a pretty good game. Against Jalen Ramsey, 300 yards, that's a special thing to do. And if Jalen can lock up Devontae, if that happens, Rodgers is forced to throw to MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Alan Lazard, I'm pretty sure he's healthy. Robert Tonyan's been pretty good this season, so I'm not going to discredit that. He has been pretty good. Plus, he's got Aaron Jones, who isn't a bad pass-catching running back at all. So, with that said, I think this will be a close game. I think it will be fun to watch, but I'm going to give it to the Rams. And you know what? I'm going with my gut on this one. This is a very unpopular take. I'm sure there will be some hate in the comments, but I've got to go with my gut, and to me, that's the Rams. Cam Akers he had 175 yards against the Seahawks. Granted, not a great defense, but Cam, nonetheless, is tearing them up. Plus, the Packers don't have a great run defense either. So, with that said, I am very excited to watch that game. Next up, this is probably my second most anticipated game of these playoffs so far is the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. This game is going to come down to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. It's so cool to me that these two 2018 quarterbacks are going to be competing for a possible NFC championship appearance and a possible Super Bowl appearance. That is awesome. It just proves to you how good that 2018 class was for those quarterbacks. Plus, Baker's in the playoffs as well. So, 3 of those quarterbacks are in the playoffs right now. I am very, very, very excited for this game. I think Stephon Diggs has solidified himself as one of the best wide receivers in the game. The John Brown, who dropped a pass last week, probably would help the stats. I think he'll be pretty important against this Ravens defense. This Ravens defense is good. Marlon Humphrey has also solidified himself as one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Not top 10 by any means, but he's very good. But Marlon can only guard one man, and that's going to go to Stephon Diggs. So when you have a guy who can burn you like John Brown, that could help Josh a lot, especially with his throwing. And, man, he's very, very good at football. To switch sides, I got to talk about the Ravens a little bit. I like them. They just beat the Titans in an impressive win. They've got a lot of momentum going into this game. They finished off the season strong, have been playing great since about halfway through the regular season. Just came off a great playoff win, but at the end of the day, I do think that the Bills are going to come away victorious. They're just too good to say anything else. It's the one weakness this Bills team has is its defense, which is incredibly important. But I don't think this defense is bad enough to weigh down that offense. I feel like the offense is just scoring on every drive. Not a lot of punts, a lot of time chewed. Yes, they lost one of their running backs, but at the end of the day, they weren't using Zach Moss that much anyway. So, With that said, this Ravens defense is designed to stop the run. That's what they did in the offseason. They got Calais Campbell. Yannick Ngakoue is a great pass rusher, but Calais Campbell, Brandon Allen, plenty of defensive tackles and linemen that help suffocate the run, and we saw it against Derrick Henry. But this Bills defense is going to do it through the air. Marlon Humphrey can't guard everybody on the field, and it's going to come down to that. I'm going to give this one to the Bills, which is awesome to say because, I like the Bills. I think they're pretty hard to root against unless you hate their fans, but I think their fans are just fun, the team has been horrible, but that fan base has been loyal, and it is fun to watch them succeed, I think. I just like seeing a team that's been in such a drought finally succeed, and I'll talk about another team in a similar position in the Cleveland Browns. So, this next matchup is very sad to say. It's the Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and I honestly think it's a no-brainer. I think everybody does. It's the Chiefs. I think they'll win pretty handedly. I don't really have too many talking points about the way Browns might be able to win. If Baker turns on the Jets, if Baker can get it done every drive, you can say this about any quarterback, though. Baker needs to step up, and he has been all season. He's been playing great. But in playoffs like this, man, it's hard to say. They almost blew a lead against the Steelers because Baker couldn't get anything done on offense. He was going 3 and out against a better defense than this Chiefs defense and the Steelers, but the Chiefs defense isn't bad by any means. They had a week of rest. They are the best team in the NFL at this point in time. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins. I don't know why I said Sammy Watkins, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if he's even healthy. But they have Le'Veon Bell, plus Darrell Williams has been good for them. On the other side of the ball, Chris Jones is just great. They have a lot of good, solid pieces on that defense. So, with that said, I love the Browns, and it really sucks to say that their time in the playoffs is over. But if I'm a Browns fan, you already won your Super Bowl. You beat the Steelers in a playoff match, and you embarrassed them. You didn't just beat them. You absolutely crushed them. Even though the final score might not have been as close as it should have been, you still put up 35-0 in the first half. Come on. You might be disappointed that they didn't beat the Chiefs, and that's okay. I feel your pain. But I think you should be very, very proud of your team. And this is a team that's built for the future. They got plenty of pieces down the line. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, a ton of talent. Denzel Ward didn't even play last week, but ton of talent. Very excited to watch this team, and I think Baker is legit. I think he deserves a contract after this year, and we'll see where it goes from here. But going on to my most anticipated, my closest to heart game, it is the Old Man Bowl, Breeze versus Brady, first time ever in the playoffs. It was bound to happen eventually. Super, super excited. If you've watched football anytime in the last decade, you have to be excited for this game, unless you just hate Breeze and Brady for some reason. I am extremely, extremely excited, and if Breeze ends up losing and he retires, so be it. I saw him play Tom Brady, but god damn would I love to see Drew Brees beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. That would help me so much arguing against people that Brees is clearly a top 3 quarterback. I have plenty of talking points about Drew Brees. Anywhere in your top 10, I can see him, but it has to be above the top 3. Drew, I love him. He's my favorite player of all time. This is the last game I see him play. I'm proud. To get into why I think that the Buccaneers are going to win, which I think they are, unfortunately, it comes down to this offense is clicking. Tom Brady is clicking with his receivers. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all of those guys are. Antonio Brown is playing like an Antonio Brown of old. Man, they're good, and the Saints secondary is bad. I think that Marshawn will lock up Mike Evans like he does every game they play. Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins. We have a lot of Jenkins, actually. They're good players individually, but against a surgeon in Tom Brady, who is going to be able to get his receivers downfield, and Tom's been throwing the deep ball well. And when you got Mike Evans on your team, I know I said Marshawn's going to lock him up, and I think he will. But, man, I can see Mike Evans going down on a streak and Marshawn just fouling him. That's what we do every time. We just get a pass interference instead of getting embarrassed, and it's done. You're over. That happens so often to the Saints, and it sucks because it takes away from the elite players we have in the run-stopping game. But they're not going to beat us on the ground. They're going to beat us in the air. I think Ronald Jones is still hurt. Keyshawn Vaughn and Leonard Fournette were not good last game, so that's good at least for the Saints. I think that might help, especially if they can't pace themselves on any sort of, third down situation, second down situation. Same thing happened with the Steelers. They were relying too much on the pass, and when James Conner couldn't do shit, they had really long third downs, and that also came down to just stupid fouls on that O-line and delay of games, setting them back 5 yards and getting 3rd and 15s. That's not going to happen with Tom Brady as your quarterback. Just isn't. I think Big Ben is up there and definitely a Hall of Famer, but Tom is on another level of organization, skill. He is an incredible player. I have definitely downtrodden him, and I don't love Tom, but I cannot deny his greatness. He is the GOAT. It sucks to say when my man Breeze is still in the league and still playing, still kicking, but it's true. Breeze, I also don't know what he's going to be able to do. I do think he'll have a good game, but if Sean Payton doesn't, understand that Alvin Kamara is probably the best pass-catching back in the NFL other than Christian McCaffrey, I am going to do something bad. I'm going to be very, very angry at Sean. He needs to realize Alvin helps so much, and we do not design enough plays for him to catch the ball. It's simple. It's plain like that. It's like yogurt. It's plain. You got to pass the ball to Alvin Kamara. Especially, don't put in Taysom on a 3rd and 4. Do not do that. Sean, please. Don't put Taysom on the field. They know what you're going to do with him. It's not a secret anymore. He's a quarterback and he can run. Great. Stop it, Sean. Please, I beg. It doesn't help us. It kills our momentum. Drew will have like 6 or 7 completed passes in a row. We'll be on the 13-yard line on 2nd and 8, and you'll give it to Taysom. And Taysom will run into the back of a lineman. Sometimes he scores, but come on, you can do that with Alvin Kamara too. Taysom isn't surprising anybody anymore. It's expected, Okay, we'll just drop a couple guys into coverage and stack the box. Very obnoxious what Sean does with Taysom. I think everybody who watches the Saints play understands that Sean and Taysom have a little bit of a relationship off the field. But that's a conversation for another day. Those are my predictions, so I'm going to go through it one more time. I've got the Rams beating the Packers. I've got the Bills beating the Ravens, the Chiefs beating the Browns, and the Buccaneers beating the Saints. So, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, leave a like, subscribe, put on the little bell, the notifications. It's really easy. And thank you. I appreciate it. I'm extremely excited to watch as much football as I can. I hate the off season because I just have nothing to watch. Now I've got the NBA and I can enjoy that. Man, playoff football is a different animal. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next time.